Angela Levin's here, though, our favourite royal biographer. Angela, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you, like me, I'm sure, were looking at that balcony scene yesterday as the beautiful planes flew over with that red, white and blue coming out of the red arrows, and thought, there's only one guy that's missing from this, and it's Prince Harry. And, of course, I'm sure they're all very pleased that he wasn't there, but it's such a shame that, you know, the one man who should have been there because of his attachment to the military is so wrapped up in his own weird lifestyle that he couldn't be there.
No, it was a shame, and I do find seeing people in the row like that, it's very, very moving, because each time you see them, they've grown a little more, or they've looked smarter, or all that. But he's out of his mind, really.
He does seem to be, doesn't he?
He does seem to be out of his mind, and I think he's been encouraged by his wife, Meghan, and I think that nothing will happen until he actually sees therapists and is really helped. That you can't say, I want to be taken back into the royal family, but I hate them and I'm going to carry on with the government to try and get my way. You know, you can't speak opposite each time you're opening your mouth. I mean, it is absolutely impossible. Right. And it's also shocking that this interview with BBC came just before this 80th anniversary. Right. Because, you know, Meghan likes to put these things to detract and to show how important they are. And I think that that's absolutely shocking. So everything is ruined. And it was supposed to be a beautiful time, and it was lovely. You can't get over it. But actually, I think that you want to keep destroying everything because they don't give you what you want. Yeah. It's absolutely terrible.
Well, he's obviously in a state of mind where he's the victim now, and no matter what anybody tells him, it will always not be his fault, and it will always somehow be somebody else's fault. In this case, it sounds like he thinks it's his father's fault.
Yes, he does think it's his father's fault, and he has had it said to him several times that he can't answer because you're talking about the government. He can't control the government, and he says, yes, you can. Right. And who does he think is right? I mean, he's now going off to the Home Secretary to see if she would help him or change things. Yeah,
I mean,
he's heard anything so ridiculous.
I know. He's even implored Keir Starmer, you know, who can't even get his own house in order, to go and sort of talk to the King about getting some security for him, which he gets when he comes here anyway.
Yes, well, that's the ironic thing. He avoided saying that I'm talking now about the most expensive and difficult and excellent number one of people looking after me. But there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he could have, he could be looked after on every other way, but just not to have guns. They can't have guns. If they come from America, they have to. Right. They can't come with guns. But he won't listen. He won't understand that. But he does know it. He does know it. But I mean, he's a wreck. He's a complete wreck.
Yeah. She's finished him off, hasn't she?
Yes, she has finished him off. You see, she won't have any advice from anyone because she thinks she knows better from anyone else. Yeah. Harry only takes advice from Meghan. He won't listen to anyone else. So she is poisoning him, I have to say, and it's working. And I think it's absolute tragic.
It is. I mean, today I'm reading a piece about Ben Goldsmith having a go. Used to be his good friend. Yes. Basically saying that, you know, he doesn't understand why he's doing these things. He says what he's doing is unforgivable, which is a pretty strong word to use about a friend, isn't it?
Yes, well, I think that the trouble is, as well, is that so many of his friends have dropped him because they don't like his behaviour. They don't want him to attack the royal family. Some of them have been in the army, and they don't want to hear bad things about the king, particularly when he's got cancer. Right. So you can't understand why somebody is being so unpleasant. But actually, if you look deeply into it, he's actually being told what to say. Yeah. Some of his sentences, I mean, I know him well, some of his sentences are not Harry spoken sentences. there's someone else, and I
Yes.
know exactly who the someone else is.
Yes, I think we all do. And when he says things like, I don't know how long my father has got, you know,
Yeah.
people were assuming, certainly the people that I saw analysing, was assuming he must know something. I don't think he does know anything. I think he was just saying that because he's an attention seeker.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, nobody's told him anything. Even his friends have usually won't say anything about it because he will sell it, and nobody wants that. And they will start investigating the absolute type of cancer it is.
Yeah.
So that nobody, everyone's being very careful. So he makes it up himself. Of course, someone of his father's age in his late 70s, he can be very dangerous, but it's not up to him to say that. It's cruel
Yeah.
to the
It's awful, isn't it?
and it's absolutely awful. But what I also thought was really awful, right at the end, where Meghan has sent in a black and white photograph
Yeah.
of Harry walking away back. You just see the back of
Yeah.
him, and he's got his little girl on his shoulders, and Archie in his hand,
Yeah.
and that is really saying, "Get lost. I'm just fine going in my garden." That's so rude,
Yeah.
so unpleasant, that it's absolutely painful.
And
It's
what
painful
happens
for
now?
me.
Because, you know, she's done this ridiculous interview with that woman called something Lima, you know, the three-barreled woman,
Yes.
who's very odd, who's even more odd than Meghan, it seems to me. Couldn't stop smiling with this kind of ridiculous smile, rictus grin, which is awful. Just completely nonsensical interview about nothing.
What was awful, I thought, actually, can I just say, was
Yeah.
when Meghan said, "I've never been happier." Now, do you know anybody who's a decent wife who would say, "I'm so happy," when you know that your husband's absolutely tragic and really unwell?
Yeah.
It's a most terrible thing to do because you think, well, now I don't need him.
Right.
Maybe that's what she's trying to say.
Yes. Jamie Kern Lima is the name of that woman. I mean, but what do
Yes.
they do now? Because they seem to have found themselves in a rather curious cul-de-sac, it seems to me, where, you know, he's got the Invictus Games, but it's only every few years. He hasn't really got much else going on. Nobody, apparently, you know, he's now more unpopular in America than William, because the Americans have seen through both of them as a pair of grifters who are not really much use to man or beast. And he's just going to be left dangling.
Yes, well, that's, I think, is what makes Meghan happy, that he's there, he's standing there like an assistant, you know, who can sort of move her into a room or take her there. And she's got the royal name.
Yeah.
But she can do what she likes and say what she likes. And he's finished, he's crumbled up.
Yeah.
And this is what she's done to him, whereas she feels she's doing brilliantly with all her food and all her discussions and everybody interviewing her and telling her how wonderful she is, but actually not finding out what's supposed to be is, how do you do these things? You don't want to know every detail of somebody.
Right.
And the time they get up and put their pajamas, what time they put their pajamas
Yeah.
on.
Well, the best
you
bit
know.
I thought was when she said, you know I'm a good friend. I know I'm a good person. You know,
Yes, but
I mean,
she's
just
fed up
ridiculous.
with being expected to be. She doesn't want to be expected to be anything. You know, she's got to be a good mother. She's got to be a good wife. She's
Yeah.
got to be this, good that. It's all too much, and she's working so hard. She didn't have almost no makeup on, so she would look like a poor soul.
Yes.
And I think that she's got so much spite
Yeah.
in her. And that it's actually, he doesn't know what to do. He tries to please her, which you can't,
No,
because she
it's
wants
impossible.
to win. And she wants to write out the royal family.
Yeah.
And Charles, and Harry would absolutely like her to take over because he thinks she's wonderful.
Yeah.
But that's because he tells her again and again and again and again how wonderful she is.
It's terribly sad, really, isn't it? But people have just lost interest, I think. Angela, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Angela Levin, royal biographer there, of course, talking about the terrible state of what is now going on inside the head of Prince Harry.